All right, guys. Welcome to Blue Line Unfiltered, where we have no filter and we say it how it is. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. I am your host, Alex, and today we have two real special guests. And by special, this is what I mean. You know. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys. We'll start right here.
No,
Ladies
we'll start at the
first.
end of the table.
Ladies first.
Right behind the bench.
Just, you forgot your name? Just give your name. That's all you gotta do.
Just let it
You
come
call me
naturally.
B.
All right, guys. Call her B. And over there we have
Sanchez.
Sanchez, a big dog. All right. Before we start, I do want to say thank you to our sponsor, Code 4 Pomade. Always taking care of us, making sure our hair looks good. If you guys haven't give them a try, go ahead and click on that link. Order some pomade from them. They'll take care of you for sure. So, guys, and for girls, it's for guys and girls. You know, we don't discriminate here. So, go ahead and click on that link and get yourself some pomade. As a matter of fact, I got some samples here for you guys. Take some home, try it out, see what you like. I know you guys will be ordering some. So,
Thank
with
you.
that being said, how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Oh, I gotta share the mic.
Pretty good.
Sorry, guys. It's the first podcast. We're on a budget, so there's only two mics right now. How's this year treating you, Sanch?
I can't complain.
Yeah, a lot of overtime.
It's been great.
Yeah, Sanch lives the bachelor life. If you guys can't tell by the way he's sitting and his posture and the way he's enjoying that drink.
I still got responsibilities.
The what?
When he pulls out his wallet.
No.
That's
No,
big bucks right there.
No,
That's big bucks walking right there. That's it right there, huh?
not at
What do
all.
you think?
Not at all.
Yeah, I think he's got a, what is it called? His truck? He has a name for his truck. What is it,
Oh,
Sanchez?
Sanch,
Uh,
what is the name of your truck?
I call her beef log.
Beef log, guys. Beef log. It's a mean machine. It's a nice truck. You guys put in work and slave away your overtime and do nothing else but work. You might be able to buy a $120,000 truck yourself too.
Oh Jesus.
But Sanch works hard. He's earned it. So
Cheers.
cheers for that, Sanch.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we don't get too drunk during the podcast. And it is the first one, so
The sun's still out. We'll see.
we're trying everything out. We're gonna figure out how much we can drink before we gotta stop. So
Nobody's working tomorrow morning.
what's that?
Said good thing nobody's working tomorrow morning.
Or driving. Don't drink and drive. Get an Uber. It's a lot cheaper. Trust me. My friend knows. He'll be on the podcast here one of these days.
I take transportation everywhere.
That's right, Sanch. That's good.
Best way to be safe.
I mean, by transportation, you mean
By
Private jet?
No, by transportation, he means 2 feet
Right,
and a
Chip.
heartbeat. Right?
2 feet.
2 feet in a heartbeat.
I walk everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
Why did you? Why? Oh, I thought you said hard.
No.
I was like, why are you pausing after the hard?
Heartbeat.
Just to clarify, she is ESL. She meant heartbeat.
Yes,
So let's talk about life. Where did you grow up, Sanch?
At the age of 5, I guess, as far back as I can remember.
Fuck, you were born when you were 5?
Well, I was born at White Memorial Hospital
Oh, okay.
in
Wow.
East LA, but I moved to Northern California.
Northern California.
I
Wow.
was up in the
do you think
San
about
Jose
that, B?
area.
Northern California. That's
Pretty fancy, no?
No,
That's
no,
kinda
it
fancy,
was- It, was. It was
Makes a lot of sense now.
no. I mean, Northern California Bay Area is like San Jose.
Oh,
No,
Bay
P,
Area. He
yeah.
said Bay Area.
Oh, wow. All right, Sanch.
I was only there till I was about 5 years old. Then I moved to East LA.
Oh.
And I was there for, I don't know, 10, 15 years.
So you moved to East LA when you were like 5?
Mm-hmm.
5,
More or
6?
less.
Yeah.
Up
So
to
you've
time I
had
remember.
that East LA mustache since you were 5 or 6?
Yeah, it was issued. It
Yeah.
was issued in elementary school.
Nice. I
got
guess
it in
back
the
then,
6th grade.
at White Memorial, you get a birth certificate and a mustache. No.
Birth certificate, mustache, backpacking crayons.
What about you, Pozos? Or B, as I say.
Well, yeah, you come on.
Where did you grow up? Tell us.
So, I was born in Mexico. Was there till I was like maybe 2.5. I came out here, and then I was out in the Orange County till maybe 8th grade year. I started high school out in the Inland Empire. I was there all the way up to college. College, I moved back to Orange County, and yeah, it's pretty much been my move from one place to another, one country to another too.
Nice. Well, just like you, I was also born in Mexico. I came here and I was about, I think, 6 years old. And
You already had the mustache. Not like
yeah,
Sanchez got it at 5.
yeah,
You got it at 6.
I got it at 6. Yeah, yeah, and I came, to San Diego. That's where I grew up, and then I made it all here to the big leagues with you guys. How are you doing over there in that corner, Sanchez?
We all decided to wear black today.
Yeah, that wasn't pre-planned. We obviously this was our first podcast, our first episode, and it was not planned at all. We just said, hey, we're meeting this day at this time, in these comfy couches with a nice drink, and we just all happen to wear black today, and I think that on a more serious note, I think that kind of relates back to the way we work and the way we do things, how we just naturally coordinate, when we're going to a call or whatever it is we're doing, we just do it, without thinking. I think it's really important to be able to trust your partners. Obviously we're, at this point we're more than partners. We're family. We hang out outside of work, and we have a good freaking time.
I'm amazed at the speed in which you're able to put all this together.
Hey, when you got will, you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just it's just something I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while now, and I knew that for the first podcast, you guys had to be here. My road dogs, and we got a lot of good stories together, and a lot of good heart, and just a lot of just good material. Whether it's work related or life related or just talking shit. Like we do every day, every shift. When you work with somebody in the same car for 16, 20 hours a day, and come back for another 16, 20 hours a day again, it's obviously we're gonna grow close, and not that it happens with everybody, but at least with us it did. And I just want to thank you guys for being here on the first episode of the podcast, a special podcast. I know I kind of pushed you guys. I have known Beer for a long time.
Yeah. What is it like? 10 years? No, sorry. What is it? I don't know how.
2018. So 7 years, 6 years. Be here was actually my TO, my training officer, and obviously she didn't do a good job because I'm all fucked up.
Sad. But yeah, he was
is a work in progress.
he's a work in progress. That's what it is.
He's a work in progress. Yeah,
Slowly but surely.
bringing him around.
I think I'm still a work in progress. I think we all are. That's one of the things why we're so close, and we're able to criticize each other, and feed off each other, because when we fuck up, we take it, and we learn from it, and we move forward, so it's it's a good thing.
We learn off of Sanchez too.
Yeah, that is true. We do look up to Sanchez. He is a solid motherfucker for sure. Yes, as humble as
it's you guys.
as humble as he might be, he's one solid fella. He is the professor for a reason. Do you care to tell us how you got the nickname the professor? Sanchez?
Yeah, I didn't give it to myself. That's for sure. I'm just happy to work with you guys.
B, do you care to give the story to why Sanchez is the professor?
You gave that story. Well, you
God,
gave that
man.
name, but the reason.
No, I was told he was a professor
Really?
by Ornelas.
Oh, that's right.
And I mean, obviously, I didn't even.
And it just
Another-
it clicks because
Yeah, obviously, I didn't even. I
Like,
didn't hesitate
I think-
to believe it. You know, it's
I
like,
think if-
yeah, oh, for sure, he was an English
I
professor.
think,
you know?
no, yeah, I
Another
think- I
another
think-
partner of ours
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I think as you know, as the time goes through this podcast and you guys listen to him speak, you're gonna figure out
Mm.
why he's the professor in this.
You guys, I
Oh,
swear.
100%. I mean,
His reports are
his.
Yeah.
I mean, just him giving a compliment. You know, if you're anything like us, where we're ESL kids, and for you guys that don't know what ESL is it's English second language, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, Sanchez gives you a compliment, and it's like a Harvard professor gave you a compliment. So for us Paisa kids, we don't understand any of it. We only understand the and them.
How would you compliment us?
Yeah, Sanchez, give us a compliment right now.
Give
to
us
the
an example.
to the give us a Harvard line right now, just so
I'm-
people know what we're talking about.
I'm nervous. Now I'm on the spot, and I feel like all eyes are on me. It's kind of nerve wracking.
I've never taken you for a nervous guy.
I can tell you that the only reason I'm here is because he asked me to come, and we're friends. I normally don't do well in settings where
That is true.
I have
That is
to-
true, and I truly appreciate it.
I have to speak in impromptu
You know?
fashion. It feels like you're on stage and you have to
Take your clothes off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pants optional.
Well, it won't be the first
podcast.
time. That's for sure.
That's optional.
Yeah. Give it a couple minutes, guys, and you might end up with a show.
Yeah.
But
it
no,
feels, I don't know. You've seen our podcast for the first time, and their maiden show, the very first show, you can kind of see the idiosyncrasies of how everything comes into frame. Sometimes the mic will dip below the camera and then back up.
hey, bro, I
Stuff
think
like
that only
that.
have Hornos.
The mattress, breaks or something. But
The waterbed starts leaking.
But I'm kind of wrapping my head around the whole concept. I can see, your idea and your
My
vision,
vision,
of what you want to do.
And just for people to know and see that what truly is behind the badge. You know what I mean? Because we leave our uniform at work, and that's just what we do for work. And then granted, some guys, that's their life and that's everything that whatever it would be is just a guy with a badge and a gun. But not us. We enjoy life. We enjoy the little things. A beer, a drink with with our buddies, with our partners, with our close friends, and that's another thing that I kind of want people to see. The other side. Of law enforcement. The chill side. We're human. We like to do the same thing you do. You know what I mean? Maybe not to the full extent as Sanchez. Because we're not talking about $2,000 dinners.
So what the
Like
what
orchestras.
Yeah, we don't $3,000 operas.
What-
Yeah, that's what it is. Operas.
So what's the motivation behind wanting to show your potential viewers life outside of what we do for work?
Just I think a lot of times we just we're seen as the enemy, or like
Okay.
you're, or especially right now, with the immigration stuff.
Oh, right.
It's like
We have nothing.
yeah, which we have nothing to do with. We're not immigration officers. And people we automatically assume that we're the enemy. Or that hey, we want to take them to jail, or that hey, we're here. We want to make your life miserable. Like we don't. You know what I mean? And I want people to see, what it's like. Yeah, we're gonna have, good stories, shootings, fights, what if fires. We're gonna have firefighters here on the show. We're gonna have, corner investigators, detectives, everything we're gonna have here on the show. So we're gonna have a lot of good stories, a lot of good episodes, But I also want people to see, the other side of the coin. We're not we're not people's enemies like sometimes they make us seem. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. You want to put on a different face for the public's perspective of what we do in a sense, right? To show that a more human element to it.
Yeah, because we we do. We do
I
it all the time, and I think obviously when we get recorded or when something goes on the
yeah.
news, it's never hey like the other day we pulled that lady over on the carpool, and she was going home with her kids. She could have
Mm,
gotten a ticket, and we unanimously decided that hey, you know what, this lady's just a soccer mom. That's
yeah.
not what we're out here for. We're out here for gangsters and guns and dope. We're not here for the soccer mom going home. And we let her go. We gave her a warning, and she was on her way. And I think people don't realize that happens. People assume that hey, this deputy pulled me over, like I'm going to jail. I'm gonna get a ticket.
Yeah.
Or like we're the worst of the worst. It's still a job. We do a job just like anybody else. And people seem to forget that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, well, other than the laws where we're required to take someone into custody or make an arrest, yeah, I try to use an element of discretion that's based off of two things. I mean, I don't want to make things dull and go back to the academics of it all, but and I don't want to sound corny about it, but there is an issue of spirit of the law versus letter of the law, and I try
Yeah.
to stick to that. And a lot of the time, spirit of the law wins over only because I want to believe that people are inherently good.
Yeah,
They
you want to
want
give
they
them
want
that
to do the
benefit of
right
the doubt,
thing,
right?
and
Yeah.
sometimes people just make mistakes. So and those are some of the things that we have an opportunity to see together when we're working out in the field.
Yeah.
Versus working in a custody environment
Yeah.
where a majority of the time it's unilaterally set for one thing, and that's watching people inside of a confined area,
Yeah.
and you have to stick to a certain uh, uh, well the like Title 15 and whatnot. You have to stick to a certain regimen based off of certain laws that govern how they conduct their daily lives. Out in
Yeah.
the field, it is what it is. It's You're dealing with the
Whatever you
general
get,
public.
right?
So
Yeah.
you want to act accordingly. You can't go in there with letter of the law in mind.
Yeah.
Strictly letter of the law. You're going to have a hard time.
Which some guys do, right?
Some
Some
guys
guys
do.
do.
Some
And
guys
for
do.
those people watching that are not in law enforcement, letter of the law just means it's what the law states, and the law states if you're speeding over the speed limit, you're gonna get a ticket. Instead of spirit of the law, which is you know, it could go either way, and it's more like, okay, was this person really, committing a crime? No, okay, yeah, well, yeah, the speed limit is 65 and you're going 67, that's really, based on letter of the law, yeah, you're violating it, you should get a ticket, but spirit of the law, do I really want to give this 90-year-old lady a ticket for going 67, but, it just,
It's funny you mentioned too that some of the issues that are concerning us at this present time, with the federal government intervening with the issue of immigration and whatnot. I was at this store getting uh, some fruit. It's kind of like one of those places that make you fruit cups and
yeah,
smoothies and
yeah.
stuff. They sell vegetables and stuff. And the lady, as she's making my order, pardon me?
Vegetables too.
Yeah, they sell vegetables and fruit.
This is
And
a grocery
it's a whole
store now.
thing. It's like a
So you mean a fruteria?
Fruteria, fruteria.
yeah, okay, all right. Let's a
No, yeah,
fruteria.
there's
Really nice lady, Hispanic lady. She was a proprietor there, and it was weird because I had this weird vibe as I was talking to her. And normally when I walk in there, because I've been there several times, she'll go in, make my order, we'll chat it up a little bit, and
yeah.
ask her how her day is, kind of take a look at her produce for that day, and it's pretty good. She gets some exotic stuff. Well, this particular
I
day I
know you
walked
like
in there.
exotic.
He does like.
Yeah, right.
Well,
He
she has some
loves
really nice stuff.
exotic.
I've never seen prickly pears peeled and set already prepared in a fruit cup. That was kind of
Prickly pears
yeah.
should be noted. Prickly pears, he means tunas.
Tunas,
Yeah,
right,
tunas.
right. But
What
but
are
again,
they?
Tunas.
They're
Tuna?
called tunas, but that's
Okay, well, this is
us
okay,
paisa kids understand that.
well, hang
you know?
on. This is
Prickly pears.
Yeah.
you forgot to mention.
What's a prickly pear?
Yeah, I've never heard. I've never heard that in my life.
Well, you forgot to mention that this is not only a show about discussing some of the things that we're dealing with in law enforcement. It's also a Spanish lesson for me.
There you go.
That is true.
I have
we
to
do
learn.
want to.
I have
you
to
know,
change my vernacular so I can pick
We
up certain words. In Spanish.
we like to note that Sanchez's Spanish has gone a lot better. Since he's been hanging out with
us, yes.
with
Yeah.
us paisas here. But the paisa crew.
According to
That is what we call the paisa crew. Although let's just make it clear for everybody out there. Just because you have a Hispanic last name doesn't mean you speak Spanish. Sanchez here, does not speak Spanish. He's working on it, and his Spanish has gotten a lot better since we became friends. Yeah, since we've been transiting from. And a funny story that I've shared before. My old partner, Calderon, his last name's Calderon. So, and I think at the time even Calderon was the president of Mexico. And me and him were riding in the same car. And I spoke to him in Spanish for like an hour, just like Spanish, I'm going off, and I finally look over and he looks at me and he's like, "Hey, bro, I don't speak Spanish, right?"
An hour later?
Yeah, dude. An hour later, I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
An hour later. That's funny. No, yeah, it happens. I mean, it happens. You see a Spanish last name, right, and you make that mistake of thinking, oh, they speak Spanish, but
I've always liked it to when someone speaks Spanish to me, I can understand what they're saying because I get the gist of the words and I can do some sound spelling and a lot of it from my grandmother yelling at me, but a lot of it I liken to like when you see Star Wars.
Yeah, what did she yell at you?
Oh, I don't know. Jesus. She's passed away, God rest her soul, but the reason I understand Spanish when someone's yelling more is because of the way she used to talk to me. But it's kind of like when Chewbacca talks to Han Solo. You know what I'm saying? Chewbacca speaking Spanish, and I'm Han Solo answering in English.
When you hear Spanish,
Yeah.
or you listen to Spanish, is that what you hear? Chewbacca speaking? What does he do?
And is that why is it Chewbacca, bro? Because he's brown and hairy?
You're watching Star Wars.
He's like a Mexican guy?
Well, his name was Chewie. For
yeah, like me.
His name was Chewie.
Oh yeah, his name
He's
is
a mechanic.
Yeah, Chewie.
That is true. His name is Chewie, and he is a mechanic.
But whenever he
that's
was
like her. Her nickname is Chuya.
Oh.
That is true. She can't fix nothing.
But you notice when Chewbacca would speak, he would speak his native language, and then Han Solo would always answer in English.
Yeah.
So usually when people would speak Spanish to me, I'd hear it, I understand it, but I'd answer in English. But I need to respond in Spanish.
Yeah.
My goal for, if not the end of 2025 or 2026, is to take an entire report from a Spanish speaker from start to finish.
You almost did it the other day.
That's my goal. Yeah. Well, you filled in some words for me. You filled in some of the blanks, but I was able to get it done. Yeah.
I was actually very proud of Sanchez that day.
So wait,
I think Sanchez could do it. I think
I'm gonna try. Yeah,
with a little bit of push. If we keep pushing you towards
goal.
it, I think you could do it. I think
we gotta get him to listen to Spanish music.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Maybe even a Spanish podcast. What if we do this podcast in Spanish right now?
Ooh.
We gotta get him to listen to Spanish opera.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, he actually
Yeah, they have that opera house in Mexico City, so I have to visit that place one day. So this lady at the fruit place I was telling you.
Oh yeah, back to the fruit lady story.
She as she's making my order, she's giving me these looks, right? I can see it's almost looking like it's a look of apprehension mixed in with a little bit of a conspiratorial glance, like, I know what you did and I know what you're doing, and I'm looking at her going, what's going on here?
This is the professor speaking right now.
Out of the blue, she just asked, so, and I don't know exactly what prompted any of this. I guess it's because I was in uniform and I was there just to get a snack. I was getting my lunch.
like always, we always go to Mexican spots. We always, you know,
Well, yeah.
we
well,
go get a fruta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
feel
you know.
at home, like
Yeah.
going to our own people's
Right.
businesses, small businesses.
Out of the
even.
blue.
Well, I think we've also always supported, you know, little mom and shop,
Yeah, we
mom
like
and
the
pop
local
shops. You know, we
businesses.
always
We-
do
we
that.
always
You know, we
make a
always
point to do
go
that.
and you know and support. You know,
I just like supporting local business in general.
yeah, and that then I think that's great. You know, it helps the economy and it just helps. You know, it also, I think it also that you know that new thing, the community policing that I always say. You know, the community policing. You know, knowing that hey, we're here, we're in your neighborhood, but we're here. You know, with you guys. You know, with the business owners,
Right.
with the people. You know, that way they know like, hey, okay, yeah. You know, if I call 911, these guys are gonna come and help me out. You know.
Well, that's the impression I hope I left with that lady. But on this particular day, she just turns to me and just abruptly asks, "So, what are you going to do about all these people getting kidnapped by these people posing as federal agents?" Like, just dump the bomb right on me. And I
While you
looked
were
at,
just hungry, wanted to get a
yeah,
fruit cup.
and she just wanted an answer right away. And I tried to explain to her that you know there's so many convoluted issues that are concerning the federal government's intervention with the enforcement of all this immigration law, whereas we don't have a dog in that fight, so to speak, right? For lack of a better term, we don't have a dog in that fight.
We have no control.
And I try to tell her that
Yeah,
the federal government has they're given certain liberties because of the 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 nature and scope of what their operation is, which covers the entire country.
yeah, and because we're
Versus,
not out there snatching people. You know,
well, and I
that's not our job. You
in
know?
no uncertain terms, I explained that to her as well. We
Yeah.
don't. I'm not asking you to tell me what your status is. I don't. I'm not concerned with that. And I made it abundantly clear to her that all we care about, as far as law enforcement's concerned, all we care about is, has a crime been committed? We're here for crime, not for your immigration status. We're not just approaching people and snatching them up.
Yeah.
As far as people that are impersonating federal agents or law enforcement, we can deal with that on a case by case basis. But there again, we're talking about a highly convoluted issue that is just run rampant.
Yeah.
And it's something that I just try to softly explain to her that I can't give you the answers you're looking for
Yeah.
because they're not explained to us either.
Yeah, 100%. And I think
Yeah.
that a lot of the times, you know, they want us to have the answer, or
Well,
know,
they expect you to, because
yeah,
the second they see what, I think we discussed this some time back. Remember, I told you during a time of crisis or during a time of exigence, if there's a situation where you're talking about an emergency situation, they don't care what color the uniform is. All they see is somebody in a position of authority. They see a badge and a gun, and they're
Yeah.
going to run to you and say, "What do I do? Where do I go?"
yeah,
So when things are happening that are of an unprecedented nature like this,
yeah,
they're immediately going to run you and say, "Why is this happening?"
yeah, 100%. I mean, it happened to us the other day when you know, when we got that call for the illegal parkers. You know, where the business was closed and there's people parked in there and they wanted us to go, you know, give them citations, and
Oh,
that lady
geez,
was
yeah,
all
right,
mad, you know,
yeah,
because I mean, she was in the wrong. She wasn't supposed to be there, you know, and she parked there and she got a ticket and she was mad. And the first thing she's like, "Oh, why aren't you guys out there, you know, dealing with the bounty hunters? You know, you guys should be doing that instead of being here." You know,
yep,
which is kind of ridiculous because, you know, we're there doing our job. You know, our job is not, you know, we're not federal agents. So that's not our job. Our job's not to go and, you know, play bounty hunter or go and, you know, get the people that are playing bounty hunter. You know, that's now, you know, I know one of my other buddies, you know, he got a call to where there was a guy, you know, sleeping in the car. He's sleeping on, you know, on the steering wheel, and he goes, you know, responds to the call, gets the guy out of the car, and he has a gun on his lap and an ice badge, you know, sitting in the cup holder. And so he was impersonating a federal agent, and he was illegal himself. You know,
wow,
yeah. So
that's amazing.
you know, it's just, man, like people really just expand this out of control. You know, they just
That's what's causing. I feel like maybe that's what's causing fear, in people. and but it like we said, it's has nothing to do with the actual police or sheriff department. It's our local PD or local sheriff. It's a federal thing, and that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, and I think we do a pretty good job, as far as that, and clarifying that for people, and then letting them know, that again, we're not the enemy, and we're not there to take them. So, but yeah, and with that being said, did want to ask, how we already asked how the year's going, how life is going. Um, is there any goals you guys have, or anything you might want to do by the end of the year? I know Sanchez, he wants to be more solid with the Spanish, but you know,
I know I'm kind of embarrassed about admitting that, but
hey, but that's good. You know what I mean? I
it's
think
got
that's
to be done.
important. To be better and be able to make yourself better, you have to be able to accept your flaws and know where and know where you kind of fall behind in, and I think that's one of the reasons why we kind of all clicked together. You know,
Yeah, and I think that's, yeah, like you said, that's why we click. I mean, we like to learn off of each other. Like we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. And sometimes where we have a weakness, the other person has a strength. Like and we always help each other out. And I think that's, at least for me, that's my goal. You know, is learning, because I think there's always space for learning. Learning. We don't know everything. And I feel like, I don't know. I'm the type of person that. What are you telling me to do, dude? But I feel like I'm.
no, nothing
I,
dirty. I'm
I, I,
telling you,
No,
turn the
no. I'm
mic up
just
a
saying,
little
like.
bit so they can hear you.
I think I think he's where the mic isn't close enough.
It's not
I
close
think
enough.
it's good enough.
I think it's
It's
good.
good right there.
I hope
I'm,
so.
I mean, I'm not
We're
very
gonna
good at.
find out.
I'm not very good at this podcasting stuff. It makes me
I've
nervous.
never done this before ever.
But
Well, I
hey,
mean-
we're
I'm pretty
here.
sure there's people watching going, and it shows, and it shows. My God,
Get her off
what
the
is
stage.
this?
I mean, I'm glad we don't have a crowd. They'll probably be throwing tomatoes out here.
Mm.
But what was I saying?
You were saying something about the mic.
Sanchez, what was I saying?
You were talking about being humble.
Right. Being humble. I think that's one of the biggest things, especially in this scope. It's we need to be humble. Because
Mm.
it's like we never know when we're gonna need each other. There's gonna be a time where, like, yeah, maybe we don't click like with other people, the same way we do, but at the end of the day, we all need each other. And it goes for everything, not just within this line of work, but everywhere. Like and especially having the tragedy that just occurred, you know, um, yesterday, right? Today, Saturday, yesterday, with the deputies passing away due to the explosion. Like, if you really, if we were to sit and think about it, it's like our life is short. Like, especially in this, job, like our life is short, and something that we need to learn is like, hey, like there's always space to learn. There's always space to be there for each other, whether or not, you agree with somebody's, thoughts or decisions or whatnot, like at the end of the day, we're here as a team, we're here together. Whatever you do, in this line of work, like we need each other, and I think that's why we've clicked so well, is because, you know, we fit like a glove, like when we show up to Sanchez's calls, like we were always like, hey, dude, like, what do you need? And Sanchez, he's just so good at like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you? And we just know what we're gonna do, and that's the beauty of it. Like, to me, that's just amazing, and that's why it starts feeling more like family than an actual job. Actual co-workers. Like, it's a family. We're all there to make sure that we all leave safe. We all go home safe. We all go home alive. You know what I mean? and thinking about what had just occurred, like it's scary. Like it's you just never know. You come into work like whatever, it's like a normal day. You show up and it's like we can all go down in seconds.
There's
And
not too many jobs in this world where you go in
no, there
where
isn't.
the first thought you're thinking of is the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I feel like people don't understand that, and I feel like if they were more understanding on,
Perhaps,
you know what I mean, like
perhaps,
it
maybe.
probably a little different, you know what I
You
mean,
know,
but
I think it starts. I think it starts with the individual. I mean, not everybody is going to be on the same page.
yeah,
What I learned through. Uh, I'm sure it's been used over and over again, and the term may be a bit derivative, but it's from the school of hard knocks. You know, I
yeah,
knew that checking your ego at the door and always being humble and always being in a position or a capacity to always wanting to learn
yeah,
is how you maintain this level of being an even keeled person where you're approachable
yeah,
and you can learn from
right,
somebody and you could also teach somebody. And I think that's part and parcel of how we get along or how the rest of us get along with our partners.
yeah,
You
no,
know,
I agree.
I came from a place where, you know, if there was a code 3 response for your nearest role, working in a spot, maybe it was 28 minutes away,
Yeah,
you know, and you're getting to that person with everything you got, knowing going code 3, it's 30, almost 30 minutes. And you're praying that by the time you get there, you're able to do something,
right,
you know. Some places aren't like that. Some places are, you know, the culture is different.
yeah, so no, you agree, I agree, and I feel like we are blessed. We are blessed that we are in a place where at least we know we have each other's
Yeah.
back. We have each other. Like we learn from each other. We're always gonna make mistakes, like, and that's something that, and it's good to have each other because it's like, hey, we can point it out. Like, hey, like I think we could improve that, or I think if you were to do this different, and then I think that's why we always like lean towards you because we know we're gonna get that. Like we know we're gonna get that. Like hey, you guys did great, but like oh, we should have done this or we always brief on everything that we do, and I think that's what helps us grow, not
I'll,
just in what we do, but I think it helps us grow, in our relationship as partners, in our relationship, as a person, and I don't know. To me, it's just it's
well,
beautiful.
the debrief
It's
is
a
pretty much that's it's a necessity. It needs to happen because everybody learns from it. Everybody grows. Uh, I'll be the first one to tell you right out the gate that I've always been weary and apprehensive of working with somebody that gives off the perception that they know everything. I'll
yeah,
be the first one to tell you I don't know anything.
Yeah,
If
and and
anything, I
and
learn from you guys.
and that's a really big thing now. Especially nowadays where you getting all these new people coming on to departments, and they come out all hard, or they think they know everything, and it's they're still wet behind the ears, and not just in a job but in life. Like
Mm.
sometimes that you need a little bit of life experience, to be able to like, hey, I've dealt with this in my own personal life, and you have that connection with the public, and you be able to you're able to talk to people different. When you can sit and play and talk about it, or when it's time to go and it's it's all business now. We're gonna handle business and do what we have to do. And I appreciate what you said about like obviously we're mourning right now for those guys that just lost their life yesterday, and you're right. You never know what could happen, or when you can lose your life, or what's gonna happen. Every time we put on that uniform and go out on the streets.
it can be a simple call, or not even a call like them. It wasn't even a call. You know what I mean? It can be something so not even in our scope of like our duty. You know what I mean? And that's what impacted me. Like, it's good to, I mean, these moments is it's good to really like think about like, hey, we need each other.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, it could be something that, yeah, it's not even hey, I stepped out on my patrol car, hit my head, and that's it. I'm never coming back. So yeah, I mean, you get that. Freak accidents happen, and I think I think that it's nice to be able to have good camaraderie and be able to like us we're more than partners. We're family. We take care of each other. We take care of each other on and off the job, and I think that's kind of the reason why we're here today. Having this little podcast, and I wouldn't have wanted to have this first episode with somebody else other than you guys. Guys that like Sanchez says, that we go patch to patch. The calls and people that we spent.
You don't see age, you don't see race. You don't see age, you don't see race, you don't see any of that. It's just like he says, patch to patch.
Yeah, and we take care of each other. We handle business when it needs to be handled, and we also have a heart. And when it's something that we can give somebody a break or give them a different perspective of law enforcement, I think that we do a pretty good job with that. But again, that doesn't don't take our us being nice for weakness. Because we will handle business and we will make it happen if that's what we need to do. So it's just on a case to case basis, but we are gonna take a little head break and refill on our drinks, and we'll be back.
After these messages,
That's right.
I don't know how this works.